Hello and welcome to the Audio Dad Chronicles. I'm Shale, and today's CanCon day, and I'm thrilled at the return of Rush. This will be finding my way live at the 2026 Juno Awards. So iconic Canadian band Rush are back. Geddy Lee and Alex Lifeson have decided to put the band back together again and get ready to do a bit of a tour. And they've brought along German drummer Anika Nilles to join the band to take the place of the sadly departed Neil Peart. And to get ready for their tour, out of nowhere, they show up at the Canadian Juno Awards. For those that don't know, the Juno Awards are effectively our Grammys up here. So we're pretty stoked to have some CanCon, some Rush. First time ever covering Rush on this channel. I didn't think I'd be saying that. But here we are. And they are going to be doing this song, Finding My Way, live at the Junos. For those that aren't familiar with that song, if they only know some of the bigger hits, Finding My Way actually came as the first song on the first Rush album, which was released in 1974. The same year I was released, if you know what I mean. So needless to say, this is going back a few years, in case the grays weren't obvious. This album would be, well, 52 years old now. So, pretty big deal. Can't wait to hear this song done live. I've obviously heard the album before. I know it well. I own several Rush albums on vinyl, of all things. But let's not waste any more time. Let's just jump right into this. This is going to be Rush live in 2026. Wow. Let's go. Of course, on the CBC. Oh, to be in that crowd. Okay, let's take a quick little pause here. Gotta acknowledge the fact that there's also a keyboard player on stage, and that is Lauren Gold, formerly of The Who and Chicago. So, pretty epic lineup. If you're gonna add a little bit to the lineup to, you know, take they take some of the heavy lifting off, because let's face it, Geddy and Alex work hard enough. They don't need to be playing every instrument and doing the pedal dances and all that they've done in days gone by. They can breathe a little bit. And wow, are they letting this breathe? This sounds great. Anika's killing it on drums. Geddy is sounding killer as always. His bass sounds nice and bright and punchy and cutting through. Alex is ripping it up as always. They are definitely pulling out a classic and doing it right. This is killer. Let's just not waste any more time. Let's jump right back in. Okay, so I gotta know, what do you all think about Rush coming back? I'm pretty stoked about it. Of course, we're all sad that Neil Peart is gone, and some people can say that that is the death of Rush, but quite frankly, that's not up to us. That's up to Alex. That's up to Getty. And they think very rightly so, in my opinion, for what it's worth, that they're doing Neil Peart proud. They're doing what he would want them to do. They had that itch, they wanted to get back into it, and they're doing it, and I couldn't be happier for it. And Anika, I'm aware of her. I don't know her music well. I have seen a YouTube video or two of hers, and I do know she's a phenomenal drummer. And if they're picking her, of all people on the planet that they could have gone with, and without even doing auditions, they picked her. They wanted her. If that doesn't say enough, if that's not a big enough endorsement, frankly, your opinion don't matter. Sorry. They wanted her. They got her, and she's killing it so far. Loving the groove she's laying down. And she's going to work her butt off. You know that. She's going to do the parts justice. She's going to do it right. And so far, so good. Really, really cool to see her up there, to see them getting out there again and giving another generation a chance to enjoy their music. And true to Rush's form, they when they play, they typically don't have a big backline, or they don't have, me being the guitar tech type of guy, I'm always looking for these things. And although I haven't worked for Rush in the past, I have met them all a number of times over the years with the previous music industry job that I've had, working the roadie and the A&R, artist and repertoire, doing things like handing out endorsements and working amp deals for people and so on. But I never had the chance to work with Getty or Alex in that capacity, because at the time when I was working that job, their back line were washing machines and candy bar machines. Yeah, seriously. Look it up. The truth is, they play with, amplifiers in the back, or things that are known as amp modelers and stuff like that. They've got a way of recording or performing live without needing the big wall of Marshalls and big wall of amps like most people would always have. It's becoming the norm these days, but they were very much ahead of the curve in that regard, with having just amps in the background in isolated boxes, and so it was very controlled, so they could control their sound and get it to their in-ears the way they wanted. But of course, that leaves the wall behind them kind of empty. Some bands would just do backdrops. Some bands would, bring out fake cabinets where they're empty. There's no speakers in them. They're not plugged in. Not Rush. They had washing machines. Kenmore's. Or one tour, they had vending machines, and then at one point, people would come out and dispense candy, or a lady would come out with like a basket and literally rotate the laundry over and take out a basket of clothes and walk off stage. And they made a thing of it, which was pretty funny. I always appreciated that. But anyway, let's get back in this music. Let's back up a little touch here. Get back in the groove. was just appreciating them from a gear perspective very, very briefly. Geddy Lee is playing one of his, I assume it's one of his signature models, or certainly a jazz bass, Fender jazz bass, designed up the way he likes it. And there is at least there was, I don't know if they still make it, but Fender has had a Geddy Lee signature model, which is basically, no, literally a 1973 reissue of the jazz bass. And I've owned one of them, and they are fun. Fantastic, just killer basses. Really digging Anika's drum kit. Obviously, she's going to need a lot of drums, a lot of percussion, a lot of cymbals to be able to do the music that Neil Peart played proper justice. But really interesting when we get to see her perspective, from behind. Now, a couple of the drum heads have some artwork on them. Not sure where that artwork exactly comes from or where it originates. If y'all know, let me know in the comments. I'd be really curious to get a feel for what is she doing with that? What's up with that? And why only like 2 or 3? Very interesting. And of course, Alex with his Les Pauls. Always got to have his Les Pauls. Tell me they're not having fun. They look like they are absolutely energized. Like this was the right call for them. They didn't just come back for the money. They didn't need it. They came back because they were hungry to play some more, and we're all lucky for it. What a treat that was. I was going to do a completely different song today, but then out of the blue, this was released, and full stop. I had to check it out. I needed to see this performance, and I wanted to take you all along on the ride with me. I hope you enjoyed that. I know I did. The little rocker in me that was growing up with long hair, awkward, I very much looked like Geddy, long hair and bad bangs and just not really fitting in socially in a lot of different ways. And Rush were always one of those bands that I looked up to, because it's like, hey, if these music dorks can do it, maybe one day I can too. So I always respected them, always loved them. Sure, it's my rock and roll duty. That's another Canadian reference if you got it. But anyways, enough of that. We got our slice of Canadian content in us, and I couldn't be happier for it. I hope you all enjoyed that. I hope you all come back again. Thank you for coming along on this ride. I hope to see you all again. Peace, love, and empathy to you all. Good night.